Okay, I'm very excited to have my very, very close friend, Cindy. She's joining us from LA. I've known Cindy for over 10 years. I knew her in the UK. And when we came over to LA, she took me and my wife around and introduced us to Koreatown. And I actually realized that Korean food is amazing, thanks to Cindy. So Cindy's just got back from Manila and she's agreed to come on, just kind of share her experience. So I thought she could provide a unique insight to being in a different country and also watching what was unfolding in the US. So thanks for coming on, Cindy.
Thank you for having me, Sunny. I'm very honored to be a guest on your show.
Okay, so I'm going to dive into the first question is, how did you maintain your mental fitness while you were over in Manila? And how is it different what you were seeing happening in Manila compared to what you were seeing happening in LA?
How I maintained my mental fitness in Manila was surprisingly easy. I was in a hotel room that was a modern hotel room, like 4 stars. I had air conditioning, modern Almacons, cable, great Wi-Fi. So I tried to just keep myself busy. I mean, the thing about me is that I'm a journalist, so I was lucky in that I could continue doing what I was doing, but I had to adapt in a different way than I normally do. So my clients, they're abroad. So what I had to do was just have like other people shoot stories for me, and then they would send me the raw footage, and then I would end up editing it from Manila. So if there's like a story in Los Angeles, I actually did a COVID story in Los Angeles, and I edited it in LA. So it was just like I was there. So I kept busy with my journalism work. Another thing was I tried to, I tried to learn a new skill. I took on a lot of online courses on Lynda. I don't know if you know Lynda, Lynda.
Yeah, okay.
It's great for creative work, or finances or business or anything like that. So I think for me it's like I've always had like one thing that I wanted to do in my life, and I still have not done it. So this kind of helped me focus a little bit more by doing this online course. I did an online course on what I wanted to do, which is actually make feature documentaries. And it helped a lot. So that actually gave me a lot of focus and drive, and it gave me the get up and go every day to do something. And then another thing was just to keep, I actually read self-help books. And our friend Adil actually bought me a book called How to Stop Reading Self-Help Books, but it didn't work. So, but I discovered this great book called Essentialism by, I think his name is George McEwen. I forgot it. I don't know how to say his surname, but he's actually English. He's this business. He went to Stanford Business School and wrote this great book about essentialism. I know this is kind of a long-winded answer, but the gist of it is that it's all about whittling down the most essential things in your life to like little less but better. Okay. So I kind of focused a little bit on that. I'm just trying not to, even though I'm a journalist, I try not to. I know it's weird, but try not to read too much news. I know it's kind of an oxymoron, but yeah, I mean, news is there to obviously inform us, but it's also I feel one of the ways that it's contributed to our mass hysteria, and I feel like I'm a part of the problem, unfortunately. So yeah, those 3 things essentially. And how does it compare to being in LA? Was that your question?
Well, yeah, when you were over there and you were seeing what was happening in LA, how was that impacting you, and how was it different to what was going on in Manila?
But I was supposed to fly back on, I think beginning of April, beginning of like the first week of April,
Yeah.
and all of my friends here were just saying, "Don't come back. It's horrible." Everyone is they're just taking everything off the shelves. There's like mass hysteria in the stores, and for lack of a better word, people aren't very nice. I was going to say something else, but I don't want to swear on this show. And it just seemed like I was in a better place, to be honest. I was in the country of my ancestral origins. So in some ways, I was kind of like on holiday in a weird sort of way, which I kind of was. And I felt that because the coronavirus had already been in Asia longer, that they had a better grasp on things versus how America handled it. Because I personally don't feel like America handled it in a great way. I feel like there should have been better proactive steps to try and stop the spread. We haven't seen anything like this before in our lifetime. I don't know if we will see anything like this in our lifetime, but I think that it was just seemed a safer place for me to be in Manila.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for that answer. I think from what I got was you had to adapt while you were in Manila, but it was actually quite comfortable over there because you were in a nice hotel and they seemed to be a bit more on top of things than it was in the US. And you managed to just by keeping yourself busy, doing the online courses, and then the book that you mentioned about
I mean, one of the great things as well is that everything there is so much cheaper. I mean, it's a third world country versus a first world country, and street food was like 60 pesos, which is like $1.20 US for like an amazing meal.
Yeah.
That's like maybe like 80 pence in pounds. And it's just amazing, like food. You don't get that in the States. If you go to street food here, you can get tacos, I'm sure, for like $5, but you can't get it for like $1.20. You know, you can't get like a meal for like $1.20. So, Filipinos, we love our food. This is why we're big people. This is why we're round.
Well, it's good to hear that you had access to good food while you're over there. A point that you mentioned, which I wanted to touch on, was also how the media, because I think a lot of people I've had on the show have been talking about how to limit the amount of media, and you kind of on the point that you may have been part of the problem to the hysteria, because there doesn't seem to have been any filter on the news, and we just keep getting all kinds of news, which I kind of call almost like a horror show, and no one knows what's correct. And I think that's a big part. It's interesting to hear that you actually limit how much social media you have to help with your mental fitness.
Yeah, no, definitely. The way the news operates, I've been doing this for 20 years. The way the news operates is, the most sensational stories, the most important and sensational stories will get to the top. Those are the ones that are going to be told. The things that are not of the norm. I mean, we see so few seldom good news. I actually, my friend and I, Nadia, we actually wanted to do a good news sort of like show for a podcast that we have. But yeah, we just wanted to hear positive stories, like how people were surviving, what were the good things that were happening as a result of this. I think this pandemic has brought out the best and the worst of people.
I totally agree with you, and I agree that in the US they haven't really handled it as well. But on the positive side, I've just been watching the governor of New York, and just the way he kind of got ahead and the way he's communicating information. He doesn't downplay what's happened, but he kind of makes everyone aware of what they've done to help stop. Because in New York, they've actually stopped the spread of it going up, which is not the case in the rest of the US. So that's definitely a positive.
I think he's been, one of the heroes of this crisis. Him and Dr. Fauci.
Yeah.
Am I spelling his name right? Is it Fauci?
Kelsey, I think
You
you got
should
it
know
right.
this. Yes, please edit that. He and Dr. Fauci have been excellent at handling, I think, this situation. It's more of a calming presence, and I
Yeah.
think because we haven't been in this situation before. I think their sort of take charge authority and their lead on this has been outstanding. I think also the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, has been doing really well as well.
Okay. So a question I actually wanted to go on to was because you recently just traveled back, I really wanted to understand what was that experience like, because a lot of us are kind of, the thought of going to an airport or getting on a plane is like kind of mind-boggling. So how did you prepare your mindset, and how was it actually flying back?
I felt that I mean I think people have different degrees of how they think how severe they think this is and how much they think they're going to spread the virus. I feel like I don't know. I felt a little bit like I was going to be okay no matter what, and I still feel that way. I don't know if that's really the right way to think, but I had my cousin who I haven't seen for like a month, pick me up from the airport, from my hotel, and take me. So it was comforting to see him. And on the way, we saw my other cousin, and it was good to see him, even though we didn't shake hands or hug or anything. We did like the elbow kind of like hug. I wanted to wear like a PPE like suit. Everyone told me to get one, but I didn't have one, so I just wore like long sleeves and everything was covered. I had a hoodie on. I had a mask, of course. I didn't have any gloves, but I did have like a plethora of sanitizers. So I had the gel, the wipes. I even had a spray. So I had everything. As soon as I sat down, I mean, everything I touched in the airport, I wiped it down beforehand. I don't know if you've seen that video of Naomi Campbell when she got on plane and how she Dettoled like her seat, like even before this pandemic happened, she was just like cleaning everything. She's like a germaphobe, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I kind of turned Naomi Campbell for my flight. And I was it was like I had 3 or 4 flights canceled. I can't even remember, by the airlines themselves. So for me to get on this flight, I was actually lucky. The flight itself had it was maybe like 20 people. It was like nothing. All of the air hostesses, they wore I think they were like a PPE, like gowns. They wore like a shield, goggles, N95 mask, and gloves.
Yeah.
I don't think at any time I really felt unsafe, to be honest. I felt like I feel like, especially Korean Airlines, were taking a lot of proactive measures to stop the spread of the virus. I'm trying to think what other things. Everybody pretty much had their own row. I mean, I had like there's like 2 people. Like I had like a row. It was like 1 person every other row, basically.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was great,
Okay.
And I mean, I think all flights should be like that. When I got to LAX itself was fine. When I went through passport control, they asked me where I'd been. Oops. Sorry, can you still see me?
Yeah, I can see you now. Just lost you.
Sorry, I'm on 20% battery. Oh wait, I can recharge my phone.
Okay.
And it wasn't too bad, to be honest. They asked me like how long I was away, where I was. I said the Philippines, and that was fine. I think the thing that surprised me the most was my Lyft driver, because he seemed really nonchalant about the whole thing. I mean, he kind of rocked up in like an old like 70s cop car, and his mask was like, it was like a surgical mask, but it was like a little bit dirty, and I was just like, okay, this is weird. And then he opened up his trunk, and it was just like, I don't know, he just seemed like he was really on. He just was not bothered about the whole situation. So I asked him, I was like, what's it been like here? And he's like, oh, this is the third experience I've had of, some sort of virus like this. And I was like, oh, really? What were the other two? And he was telling me before the other two. And I can't remember what they were, but it wasn't like SARS or anything. It wasn't something that we knew. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, don't you think this is kind of more extreme than what you're used to? He's like, no, it's the same thing. He's like, in 30 days time, everyone's going to forget about it. I was like,
What?
sure. He's like, yeah, I think people are just like panicking for no reason. And I was just like, I don't know what alternative universe you've been living in the last like few weeks, but this is serious. So I was happy to get out of the car.
That actually, what you were just saying there is what really scares me. Is you see some of the people in America, and I think some people believe that, oh, it's not really happening. It's not that serious, and that's what scares me. Is like, what planet are you on that you think that this is not like anything that's happened before? It's not just gonna pick your fingers and then we're gonna forget about it. So
yeah,
but
I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, you have to keep it balanced. I think you can't be so scared of it that you can't enjoy your life as much as you can. I mean, I know things are closed and everything like that, but you still gotta do the things that you enjoy. I mean, to keep your sanity.
yeah.
I mean, for me, one of the things that also helped me stay sane is working out. I worked out in my room in Manila. I found that I did a lot of workouts actually. I would go to bed exhausted. And I wake up like, where am I? Which is good. I mean, exercise for endorphins is always good. So I think that was part of the what kept me going.
It's interesting to hear your experience of actually how it was to fly, and I love your point where you said that you just felt positive that nothing was going to happen to you. But I also love the fact that you really took precaution in the wearing a hoodie, wearing long sleeves, coming with all the disinfectants and wipes, and also having a proper mask. And I like the fact that you also were able to meet your cousins on the way, because I think now what we're finding is, as this has gone on longer, we're going to start having to have some sort of human contact to do it from a social distancing point of view. And I think, we have to accept that this pandemic is serious, but we are going to have to start coming out at some point and making sure that we do the no handshakes, do the kind of shoulder bumps, but still trying to come out and meet people from a safe distance.
I have a new thing that that I invented with my cousin. It's like the virtual hug, like this. Like this.
Yeah.
So it's including the elbow. It's just like.
Okay. That's one of the. Yeah, it could be a thing when we come out. So it looks like if we do start flying again, we're going to do it, but it's going to be a lot less people on the planes, which, to be fair, is going to be a good thing, I think.
So, I mean, I think this pandemic has exposed a lot of. I think it's exposed. I mean, I think it's going to change the way we do a lot of things. I think it's changing the way that we're going to be working. I think there's going to be a lot more people working from home. Which is I've always supported that, because driving, being stuck in traffic and going into the office and not spending time with your family. There has to be a better work-life balance, and I'm hoping that more people are able and willing to work at home. I mean, some people don't want to be at home, right? Some people are like, get me out. But I think
I think now with some people enforced at home, the truth will come out when people say, "Oh, I really miss my family." Whether do you actually really miss your family now that you?
Yeah,
But I do hope that
exactly.
people take the lessons that we've learned, because I remember working in the corporate sector and everyone was like, "You can't work from home; you have to come in." And now we're all working from home. So I
Yeah,
hate that excuse that people used to make, and I hope now when people come back, they actually realise you do need to have work-life balance. You can't spend all your time driving into work or flying away every, I don't know, every 2 weeks in a month. So I hope people
yeah,
kind of put those boundaries in place when they come back.
yeah. I mean, technology is going to be that much more important. I mean, more important than it is now, which is interesting. And the first thing I did as soon as I came back was to go. I mean, I know it's so LA, but to go on a hike, and
Uh,
I mean, just to see like people around and with their dogs. Not that there weren't people in the Philippines, but the Philippines was a little bit stricter. I should have mentioned that. They were a little bit stricter in what you could do. They had curfews as well from like 8 p.m. to 5 a.m.
yeah.
Um, and then you also Duterte. I don't know if you know anything about him, but he's quite a strong-armed president in that he actually shot curfew. What's the word? Curfew
People who
defiers.
broke curfew.
Yeah,
Are you serious?
yeah. Because
Oh,
I mean, he shoots people. He shoots like drug dealers. He shoots people who actually are drug addicts. And he takes a very hardline approach when
yeah.
it comes to drugs. And instead of now, there's less people using drugs in the Philippines, but there's like curfew defiers, and he's shooting them, which is worrying. I
That
mean,
is,
it's really worrying.
I was going
Um,
to say the point that you mentioned, the way it seems that in Asia, like China, Korea, they really handled it a lot better than definitely in Europe. Uh,
yeah,
I don't know about strong policies like where you start shooting people who break curfew.
that's. I
That's
think
a bit
it's too much.
extreme.
Yeah, that's quite extreme.
But I do, because one thing I started noticing is that they've started slowly letting people back out in Europe, and they want to start trying this. We all can come out, and everyone has to respect the social distance. But the other day, there's a school near me, and I was playing basketball, and I noticed the football team going to start training. So some people had masks, some people didn't have masks, some people were shaking hands, some people were doing the elbow. So it's like it was to me, it was just like you're gonna let people out and some people are gonna abide by the rules and they're not.
Yeah,
And it just sounds like a recipe for disaster when we all come out and then we're not really practicing the correct rules and then we just have a spike again, which I hope that doesn't happen in America.
yeah. I mean, that's really worrying. I feel like in LA we social distance anyway. Everything is so far apart. So I feel like we kind of were ahead of the curve, so to speak. Um, I know that there have been mass protests in Orange County at the beaches because, I mean, what's Southern California without beaches? And the governor shut down. He shut down the beaches last week, and then people were just they're going crazy, you know. But I think he's reopened two now, and a lot of people from LA have gone to Orange County. So it's like I don't know. It's
So
I don't know what's
are
going
the
to
beaches
happen.
closed in LA at the moment?
Sorry.
Are
Sorry.
the beaches in LA, are they closed?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
You know.
seeing the beaches in, I don't know if you saw that, the Jacksonville beaches. They got opened a while back, didn't they, in Florida?
Oh, have they?
Yeah,
Okay. I'm not sure.
I think I saw that on the news, which was kind of worrying. Got opened 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know. They're turning. I mean, they're turning the closing of the beaches into a political thing because Orange County has traditionally been a red, like a Republican county.
Yeah,
It's where Nixon came from. It's where Reagan came from. So, they're making everything political. They're just Newsom he's a Democrat, so he's just saying like, oh, you're your what you call it, you're you're choosing us to like not have the beaches because we're Republican, or yeah, we're Republican. Basically, they're picking on us. Basically, sorry,
Yeah.
I had a little brain freeze there.
So I hope that people can definitely get away from the political point and actually see. Let's just try and keep everyone safe and not
Yeah,
start
yeah,
playing politics at this time.
yeah. I think the main thing is to just, you have to do the things that make you happy every day. I mean, you have to, you know, you have. I always condone gratitude. I always support, like, you know, every day I still write in my journal as I did when I was, you know, basically 5 or 6. As soon as I can learn how to write, and I'm you know, so many years later, I'm still writing in my journal. And I think it's those quiet moments amongst all the madness that it's important to take time, even though they might not seem that important right now. This is when they're the most important.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I think that's what we found from this lockdown. If people actually take the opportunity to slow down and actually
Yeah,
self-reflect, you will find that you will amaze yourself the kind of thoughts that come to your head and ideas that come to your head.
yeah,
And I agree with you that you need to do what makes you happy, and also really being creative and trying to bring beginner. Because I'm hearing a few people talk about lockdown fatigue, and I think if you just keep trying to this is a challenge to bring beginner's mind every day. When I look at my 6-month-old, he's happy every day. And
yeah,
you try to bring that attitude to, even if you're doing new things or existing things, you'll find the joy in everything that you're doing.
yeah. Definitely, I agree. I agree.
So what's it like since you've been back in LA, and how, how's your mental fitness been since you come back?
It's been. I mean, it's been. To be honest, it's been up and down. You know, there was the initial high of being home and being surrounded by you know, normal things that you don't like, that you miss. Like I don't know. For me, it's just like it's. I mean, I live close to Pasadena, so I'm close to the mountains. So there's something about when I see the mountains coming up the freeway or the motorway. It's there's something really comforting about that. But then it. There's little things that are really annoying. Like I live in a glass room, for instance. I share a house with other people, and my room is beautiful, but it's all glass, and it's really hot. It's super hot. I had to buy an air conditioner, and I was excited for the air conditioner, which is actually what I'm sitting in front of now, which is, you can't see
Yeah,
it.
that's why
Um,
that's why you're outside,
well,
right?
I'm sitting in front of an air conditioner outside. That's so LA. Anyway, um, no, it's just I'm sitting in my room and I'm trying to work and it's just so uncomfortable. You know, it's you know, I moved to LA for the weather, but this is like a little bit too much, and I just started to get really miserable, and I just gave up like working.
I don't know how the people in the UK are going to take this, that you're complaining of having too much sun.
It's too much heat. It's like being in a sauna,
Yeah.
you know. So for me, I was just like, I've had to adjust, and I've had to learn a few things. But yeah, I'm literally sitting in front of the air conditioner between midday and like 4 p.m. Like
That's intense.
I'm not moving. If you move actually one like centimeter either way, it's just like you just stepped into hell.
I do remember when we did come to LA, a few of the days were ridiculously hot.
Yeah.
So I can imagine if you don't have an air conditioner in your house,
No.
it can become pretty painful.
No, I mean, it's funny because what I used to do is we used to go to the library or coffee shops, you know, to work if it's too hot, but now I can't do that. And now if it gets too hot, I go to Target or I go to the grocery store. It's like, oh,
Well,
I just need to buy some essential items. My mask on.
just walking around in the AC.
Yeah, like
Well, at least you're being creative. I like that.
Yeah, well, challenging times is good for creativity.
So you mentioned that you went for the hike. What was that? Is that one of the good things that you're enjoying since you've been back to LA?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's funny because I was an athlete in high school, but I think in my 20s and 30s I kind of didn't participate in sport as much. But since I've come back to LA, I've started to work out a lot more, and I've been living here for like 5 years, and I feel like I'm the healthiest I've ever been, even though I'm a lot older than I was in high school. Um, so yeah, that's one of the things. The hikes. There's a place here called Debs Park. There's turtles and like huge turtles, and it's funny because they're just out and about. You see them in the ponds, and you see them like bobbing their head up and down every once in a while.
Yeah,
But because there's nobody there, I mean, it's literally like they've taken over the park, which is crazy. I've never seen that before.
that's good though.
But
Wildlife is
yeah,
getting to come out again and enjoy themselves. That's
yeah,
definitely a good plus.
yeah. I mean, I went for a walk. I'm trying to do my 10,000 steps. It's really hard. I actually didn't realize how much 10,000 steps were. I can only manage like 5,000 to 6,000 a day.
But,
So
I've started noticing over here because a lot of people in the place where we live, they go for like 3 walks in a day. Because normally when
yeah,
you just be going to work and just moving around, you'd be able to
yeah.
do 10,000 steps. But now it's actually quite hard when you don't have anywhere to go. So
You have to really think about moving your body.
yeah,
Like it's all connected. Your mind, body, and spirit. It's all connected. And they say if you don't take care of your body, where are you going to live? So that's one of the things that I've kind of tried to keep at the forefront of my mind since I've been in LA.
okay. I'm liking the physical activity seems to have
Yeah,
upped since you've been back.
I'm not losing any weight though, which is really not good. But I guess that's not the point.
Just be healthy. Weight loss will come afterwards, but as long as you're healthy, forget about weight loss. All right,
Yeah,
the last question, and thank you so much for taking the time for this.
of course.
I just wanted to, if there's one thing that you wanted to share with the world on how they can maintain their mental fitness in this lockdown, what would that be?
The one thing I would suggest to people to maintain their mental fitness in this crazy lockdown that we're experiencing, I think, is you have to find pleasure in like the everyday things. Whether it's, oh, I've got hearing, I can listen to amazing music. I've got legs, I can dance. You know, I've got my taste buds, I can eat like amazing food. And I think when everything boils down to just the basics of like, being alive. And,
Hmm.
I think you wake up every day and you're like, oh, I'm awake. Oops.
Lost.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm here. Um, yeah, I mean, I wake up every day and I'm like, I'm still here. I'm still alive. I don't have COVID today, or hopefully I won't ever have it.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. I think it's just the very basic things that we take for granted. I know it's a cliche, but it's true, and it's a cliche for a reason.
I totally agree with you, and I think normally when we're doing our busy everyday life, and when people keep mentioning the importance of gratitude, we take it for granted because we're too busy chasing something. But now that we're in this lockdown, you kind of have to. If you don't have that gratitude, and the beginner's mind I was talking about in the beginning, you can't find the little joy that's all around you. Like for instance, you wake up and I haven't got COVID. I'm alive. I can go out and enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think the two go hand in hand.
Sure.
Is this the book that you read, Essentialism? Is that having an
Yeah.
impact on you at this point that you've been?
Yeah. No, definitely. I think I think I've always battled with this creativity. I think any creative person or any even psychologists. I mean, they have like this. You're always battling with trying to create like something that's lasting, I suppose. I think this book has really helped me focus because I think we're so easily pulled in a bunch of different directions. Whether, it's the thing that I really love about this book is like, if it's not, he says, if it's not a hell yes, then it's a hell no. And it's that like cut and dry. It's very much like, if you don't love it, if you don't want to do it 90%, at 90%, if it's 89%, then it's a definite no. But if it's 90%, then it's a definite yes. And I think for me, it's helped me to just refocus what I really want in life. So yeah, you should definitely, I highly recommend it. You should find this guy and get him on your show.
I think I'm definitely going to read the book, and I definitely I can relate to that since I've been trying to set up my business over the last 3 or 4 years. And you're right.
You've been doing great, by the way. You've been doing fantastic. I've been loving your progress and seeing your output is incredible. Really.
Thank you so much, Cindy. It means a lot. And you've definitely been liking all my stuff.
Yeah, no, it's really impressive. And you're really good at it. You're a natural. So
thank you. Thank you for those words of encouragement. I'm going to keep going on.
Yes, you should.
And the point you were mentioning about how it's so easy to get dragged from side to side is like, that was one of the things where there's so many ideas out there. There's so much information. And then you get lost with, you want to do this, then you want to do that, then you. And I think there was a book I read similar to that. It's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a, I can't swear on this, but the title is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a, and it does help you kind of streamline what is really essential for you to do, and then the rest have to just, it's almost like, it's like if it's not 90%, then it really shouldn't be taking up your time.
I mean, because the thing is, you and I, let's be honest here, we're both very talented people, right? We have a lot of skills that we can offer the world.
Thank you.
So I think that what it boils down to is, you have to absolutely love it, almost 100%. You have to almost give it your all, because if it's not something that you're going to give your all, then it's not worth your time. It's not worthy of you. So, yeah. That's what it boils down to.
Okay. Love that point. And with that, we're going to end. Thank you so much, Cindy, for giving us your time.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.